I'm Katie from the Fabric Squirrel, and today I'm going to show you the art of block printing. I thought I'd start by showing you a bit of inspiration of the things that I use to block print. Firstly, I like to add them to quilts to personalise them, so I've added a patch on here that says handmade by Katie and then the date. We used them in our wedding to make the napkins, so this was the little cutlery pocket, and I printed them onto this organic cotton napkin. They all look beautiful, but this did take a long time to make around 80 of them. I've got another little business called Crafts by Katie, and I make baby t-shirts, muslins, baby grows. These are a couple of my favourites that I do. But today I am here to show you how to make gift tags. So I've personalised them by block printing the names onto them. I've got a mummy and a daddy, so now I need to make a George. I will first of all show you the panel that these particular ones have come from. At the end of last year I showed you how to make this beautiful stocking, and that came from this panel here, and the tags came with it. I've just not had a chance to show you how to make them yet. So this is the panel. I only have a few of these left now if you did want to make one of these, so get in there quick. I've put the link in the blog. I'll put the link to the tutorial on how to make the stocking as well. It's all fully lined, and I've done a different backing, so I managed to get 2 stockings out of this one panel. Just a little bit about the block printing first then, and the kind of things that you're going to need. So for this particular project, you're going to need to cut out your panel, and you've got your hexagons, your little gift tags. You're going to need to cut all those out. Cut out the same amount of hexagons in some just plain white cotton, and I've ironed on interfacing onto the back. I find it helps, it keeps its shape better. Also, white can be a bit see-through, so it just adds that extra layer so you can't see this design through it. You need to have a foam mat. Now, I got this from the Arty Crafty place. They were at the NEC, and I got a little starter kit, so it came with the tray, the sponges, a foam mat, and a couple of paints, and then a couple of wooden blocks as well. So if you are going to start it from scratch, it is worthwhile investing in one of those, and I'll put the link to their website on the blog as well. The sponges that you get with them are the best ones that I've used. I've tried to use just plain kitchen ones, but they absorb too much of the paint, so I would recommend you use those. I'm using black for this project, but they have an amazing range of colours. I block print regularly, so I have them all up here. As you can see, I've got quite a collection. So there are other brands you can use. I've got a few here. Dylon fabric paint, and I've got one from Tulip, one from So Soft. I've used them all, they've all washed well. Just for consistency, I like to keep to the same brand with the baby vests that I do, and because of the range of colour, I stick to them. They're also a family run business, which I always like. They are most of them are heat set. Some of them have different instructions, so always check which brand you're using. But these ones are heat set. I normally put them in the tumble dryer for about 10 minutes, and then, because it's baby clothes, I always iron them as well. With something like these gift tags, I just iron them. I probably won't ever wash them because they're a gift tag. I will hang them on the tree probably every year from now on as well. But again, it's not the kind of thing you put through the wash, so I have just ironed them to set them. Now, the blocks that they sell at the Arty Crafty place are all done as part of a fair trade project in India, and they're all hand carved, and they're absolutely amazing, beautiful. You get all sorts of different ones. Those are some of my favourites. But for this particular project, all I've used is some little foam stamps, just the kind that you'd get if you're into scrapbooking, that kind of thing. And they work perfectly for this. And quite inexpensive. Don't ask me where I got these from, I think they're a gift, so you'll have to have a look around. You're also going to need a tray. I think this tray used to be white, but it's well used. So any tray will do really. I always have a bit of cloth, some scrap muslin or something, because the last thing you want is to make your beautiful stamp piece and then end up with smudgy fingerprints on it. So always make sure that the stamp you're using is clean. If it's got ink where it's not meant to, make sure it's clean, and make sure your hands are clean as well, so you don't get any fingerprints on your work. And now I will show you how to actually do the printing. Right, I'm going to get my letters out first. This one's for George, so I'm going to spell his name out. Let's give my paint a bit of a shake first, and then just put a little bit onto your tray. So as you can see, I've got my nice thin layer of paint, and just dab it in. I've got my O. And I'm going to just press quite firmly, but not too hard, into the centre. And I'm going to repeat that all the way across. Don't ever double dip your stamps if it doesn't look like it's 100% printed all the way around. No good ever comes from double stamping. It always looks worse. I think part of the beauty of it is that they never all look the same. So just embrace it if it doesn't print perfectly. There we go, George. When it comes to tidying up, just use a bit of cloth. Make sure you've dried off all your stamps as best you can before you put them away. Now when it comes to the paint, you can mix the paints to get a colour that you prefer, but that does also mean that you can't put it back in the tin, and if you run out you're never going to get the same shade ever again. So I tend to avoid mixing my paints, but I do hate waste, so I always scrape my paint back into my pot like this, and it lasts for absolutely ages. Now we're going to pin them together now that they've dried. I'm going to leave the top bit as where I'm going to turn it out, because that is where I'm going to put the ribbon as well. Just going to pin it so it doesn't slip in the machine. Now we're ready to sew. You need to make sure you found your top line. I'm going to sew it this way around though, so I'm going to use the design as a guide. Do a little back stitch at the beginning. I try to avoid sewing over my needles. I've got my little needle minder here, one of our fellow bloggers made us, which I love. Back stitch again over the end. Now you're going to need to trim your corners. You're going to end up with a better point if you trim them. Just go all the way around. Now we need to turn it. So find the bit you left open and push through. Now you need something pointy. The pointy thing that I always use is this. It's a loop turner, but it has so many uses. If you don't have one, you definitely need one in your craft room. going to need to go over to your ironing board and give it a bit of a press. Okay, so now it's been pressed, we need to insert our ribbon. Now, if you ordered one of my advent boxes this year, you'll have got this rick-rack in your advent box. I absolutely love it. It's just a bit different to normal ribbon. I've decided to do 2 pieces so that it can be tied rather than looped on. Just place them inside the top bit. I'm going to pin them in. Okay. When you go over the ribbon, just make sure you do it very carefully. Once you know it's secured one way, just back stitch over it again. Now I'm going to top stitch it just really close to the edge all the way around. Try and keep the same distance all the way around.